Hello and welcome to the ORCA pod. Back once again covering Sydney Survivor. Lots of good content to get into today. My co-hosts and I have already been discussing some of the content from this episode, and I think it is going to get juicy in some of the decisions that have been made from a production sense, but we'll get to that when we get to it, of course. Now, first of all, returning after a week or two on hiatus is one of my partners in crime, literally. Jules, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
We're always welcome to have you here. You're really doing double duty with this and Melbourne back to back. How are you finding the intensity of the coverage?
I'm loving it. It's 2 awesome seasons, and well, Melbourne's just wrapping up, so be good when that finishes, and Sydney will just be getting really exciting.
And joining me once again for OG ORCA herself, Annabel, welcome to the show.
Hi.
So we were just having a bit of a chat before the show. We've got a lot of opinions about the challenge. Do we want to just dive straight into that and get it out of the way? Or do we want to start somewhere more organic?
Let's start at the start. And get there. So I don't know that either of you two have notes today.
Unfortunately, I'm not as prepared as I was for the last episode, which was one of our better episodes. We decided after it, so I think the notes help. But I'm slightly less prepared on this occasion.
That's okay, team. I'm here to hold you. So we actually start over on the Red Tribe. We've just had the TK elimination. And our first confessional starts with Merlene. And she says that she was very worried TK was going to play something because the 2 votes from Lizzie and TK went on her.
And she knew they were coming her way.
She did indeed.
Did Christy tell her?
So
I think she might have.
I don't know if Christy told her. Christy certainly spilt the tea to Lizzie. So we hear from Christy that she spilt the tea to Lizzie on the way to Tribal, and Lizzie still voted for Merlene. What do we think about that choice?
It's a horrible choice. Like, why are you going down with the TK ship? There's just zero value in it.
Zero.
Lizzie's already voted wrong on one occasion in this game. And look, I don't think there's much chance ultimately of her outlasting Christy anyway, but like you want to probably put yourself in the best situation, and that was not the way to do it. All you're hoping for, I guess, is some jury management, or if TK comes back, which they all seem to think that he will, on what basis, I don't know. But, you know, it's not worth it. You would have been better off going with the flow.
Yeah, you're showing loyalty to a dead man walking. Like, what is the point of that? You're better off showing yourself as a potential ally and voting with the majority.
Because Merlene's going to be able to get you. As soon as somebody has written down your name and you know it's that person, like particularly in the early phases of the game where votes tend to be fairly unanimous, you're going to want to target that person. Your name is now out there. Your name is out there for discussion, and you want the person who put it out there for discussion to be gone.
Lizzie, queen of going to Tribal Council and voting incorrectly. We stan her. She's gorgeous. She's serving.
Well, I love that she's voting incorrectly on purpose. It's not like she's out of the. She's not like she's out of the circle. She knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And like, it's not even like her and TK were working closely together on the original tribe.
No.
So I don't understand why this need to be loyal to someone who
we'll have to ask her when we get her on the show.
We will have to ask her that.
Yeah.
My most burning question is actually about her special relationship with JT. I'm looking forward to getting the down low on that.
They played orgs together.
Oh, yes. Well, we'll have to get the full romantic backstory.
I think JT mentioned this on his boot.
Okay, I obviously don't watch the podcast that I'm not on. Sorry, I'm not. Sue me. All right, we also hear from Ethan. And we hear that he was really nervous going into Tribal, and he's always panicked going into Tribal, but he thinks that the OG Red is going to stay strong together, and he doesn't want to make any moves until the merge. We do see when we go over to Exile, and that's not called Exile. What do we call it?
It's Edge of Extinction. Just to, I'm going to clarify before we go. I was wrong. It's Leah that played the Orgs with JT and Luke, not Lizzie. So I had that wrong.
Thank you, Danny.
So the burning question remains hot.
We'll talk about the edges.
Danny can be our fact checker.
But we see that Ethan is starting to get a little bit of heat over from the people who are being voted out, because even though he's telling us in confessionals that he has no intention of making any big moves until merge, he's certainly the number one person feeding Original Blue that there is a chance for them. What do we think about this? I
still am in disbelief that Ethan had basically watched little to no Survivor before coming on this season, and then has binge watched a couple of seasons and is now giving fantastic takes on the coverage of Melbourne Survivor.
He binged 29 seasons. It's not like he watched a couple.
He binged 29 seasons in what space?
In
6 months between playing Sydney and appearing in the
No, sorry. Before he played Sydney. He was introduced to Survivor 6 months before he played. He watched season 1 of US Survivor. He watched Borneo, 29 seasons.
He watched Borneo and kept watching? That's an impressive feat.
I mean, look.
It's serving. He needs more work shifts.
Can we just... But he didn't know what the safety without power was.
Yeah, that hadn't been introduced yet.
Okay. Anyway, he is playing very, very well. I think keeping their hopes alive is fine. I've got no problem with that.
Why wouldn't you? Because if there is going to be, to skip forward to potentially next episode, if Christy's going to be in the middle of two pairs, which side is she going to go with? The one giving her false hope, or the one who's like, no, sorry, honey?
I strongly disagree. So I'm glad that that we do have disagreement here. I think in a season where it's a jury of everyone who is playing, that being the one who is out there and most aggressively lying, giving false hope, we already see over on the edge that TK brings up his name as someone who is playing really aggressively and not necessarily in a great way. We see Lizzie shouting him out in her exit interview, saying that she wants to take revenge. I think that Matt is striking a balance. Another thing that we see before the challenge is Matt simping aggressively for Christy. And
that's
he's to get the girl.
It's going to work for him.
He's just fangirling.
Yeah, but I mean, Ethan's 16? He could also be pulling the little fanboy, and instead he's feeding false hope. I think this is going to come back to bite him if he makes it to the end.
In the end of the day, Matt is a lovely guy, and that's coming across to the other players in the game. Ethan is a bit CK-esque, maybe a little bit of a strategic flog, perhaps, and you just can't take that out of you. You just can't, right? And that's who you're going to be. And I've learned, look, we all know I don't like to talk about my org experience too much.
My God.
On my last org that I played, my retirement org, an All-Stars org, I played uber aggressive the entire game, and I just go, you know what? If I make the end, which I did, either the jury's going to vote for me or they don't. But I'll just figure that out when I get there. I don't worry about.
Did they vote for you?
I lost 5-4. Okay, so
no, they didn't.
But what I also like to do, because of so many idols and advantages in these things, and not everyone doesn't know that Shane has them all. It's reasonable to assume that somebody else has one. You never want to be the other vote. So if he's making friends with them, then he's less likely to be the other vote, the minority vote, in the case of an advantage. So if you're playing uber strategic and you're really worried about a blowback of a minority vote in an idol, it makes sense to do what he's doing, but you are risking people being angry at you if you make it to the end. That is also the problem.
There's a fine line between giving someone hope, I'll consider working with you, I like you, I want to keep you around, versus, yes, I'm going to vote with you. And I don't think he's outright telling anyone, I'm voting with you. He's just, maybe I'll think about it. Yeah, sure.
That's not what we're hearing in the exits. In the exits, they say he lied to me.
Yeah, I think what people fail to understand when you play these things is you say, I didn't say that. I didn't say I was with you. I said this very carefully so that I wasn't legally confined by the relationship and alliance we made. But people don't hear that. They hear how you made them feel. And if how you made them feel was you were like building up their hope and they had a chance to work with you and then you crushed them, that's how they feel. And their feelings are legitimate. It doesn't matter what you said or what your intent was.
It's true. No one likes lawyers, and we're all grateful that their jobs will be made fully redundant by AI by 2025. So
it really won't happen. It won't happen. To be honest, if you read the AI stuff where they do marketing promotions and like promos, that's where they're taking the jobs.
They can. And anyway, we can have this debate offline. All right. So we now move over to the Blue Tribe. And we have quite an amusing threesome over here. So we hear from Sam. He's super relieved they didn't go to tribal. We have this sort of awkward conversation, I would call it, between Shane, Luke, and Sam. Completely incomprehensible what Shane is actually saying here. There's a lot of words. Don't get me wrong. The audio is actually clear in this spot for, an occasion. Still completely incomprehensible what Shane is saying. Something about someone going too hard, too quick. I think he's probably talking about TK. We don't know. Sam cannot even look Shane in the face. And we hear from Sam in a confessional that he knows he has to be cautious around Shane. Shifty Shane, I'm branding him, because he knows that Shane has got something going on and he doesn't know what it is. And we hear the same thing from Danny.
What does he think he thinks Shane has going on? Advantages or like something else?
So rumors are running rampant about Shane's advantages over here, pre-tribal, and Danny's pretty happy. Danny has a moment of appreciation for Danny. Danny has a visibility spike this episode, which we love. And the Shifty Shane convos are definitely
Sam
going.
Likes the nickname. Sam Green likes the nickname.
Yeah.
Shifty Shane.
So we hear from Leah, who's nicknamed Have a Chat by Danny.
Okay, can I ask, have you guys heard that term before? I had not.
I have.
Can we have a chat?
I thought Danny made it up.
No. It's
Have a chat.
Have a chat. I've heard about it because it's the name of the cafe run by elderlies for my elderly grandma that she likes to frequent. So, Danny, you just aged yourself 50 years with that reference.
What is the Have a Chat reference? I'm still lost.
She calls Leah a Have a Chat.
She's a bit of a have a chat. She doesn't shut up.
I would have just called her a chatterbox or a chatty Cathy or something.
Yeah, I've never heard this term.
Have a chat.
Ever. Yeah.
I messaged Danny and I was like, did you make this up? And she's like, are you being serious? I was like, no, I've never.
Were you suggesting it's the sort of thing that's bandied around in the Country Women's Association when they're baking scones?
Yeah. I mean, that seems a little bit sophisticated. I would call it the over 60s book club.
Where they're reading books and not just drinking wine?
They're definitely just drinking wine.
Okay, so but Leah's there talking with everyone. Do you think she thinks she's building bonds, or do you think she's just putting herself on
I think she's annoying people.
I think she's rubbing people the wrong way, which
it's good for Joseph.
Is great for Joseph, who everyone Original Blue seems to dislike everybody except for Joseph.
Michelle has come to Danny's defense, but they are clearly aligned in this game, so we can't trust that back up. And Michelle, despite her extremely youthful appearance, according to her cast reveal, was on the sort of
Michelle is too young for the term "have a chat." Yes, Michelle is at least 30 years too young for "have a chat."
How old are you think Danny then?
So we also need to get to, I think the most important thing really that happens on Blue is this very prolonged scene where everyone is looking for the idol. So Leah...
It was prolonged. It was fine.
It went for about 10 minutes and it could have been 2. So we have Leah goes searching for an idol with Michelle, Joseph, and Sam.
Now, there was a weird group to go searching for an idol. Did anyone else think that? Like, what is this group?
I did. I mean, Michelle and Sam are OG blue, and we know they aren't really vibing with Leah, so interesting choice of person to take along.
I guess
was it that Leah went and they followed?
Maybe it was more of a Leah went and they followed sort of situation.
Yeah.
We all went. Danny says they all went, but you have to.
They were all eventually there.
Yeah, they all eventually. I know it was all of you, but like Shane was in the toilets. They were, I guess, just trying to make sure Shane didn't get it.
He ran off while.
That's what Danny said later. She was like, "I'm certain he found that on the way to the toilet, and then he pretended to find it in front of us."
I guess, look, Leah, okay, let's talk about this. Leah said, let's go hunting. I guess there's nothing else to do in that scenario than go. Everyone wants to look anyway. Someone just made it, like, kosher to go and do it. So, like, I guess you take that advantage, right? Like, you have the opportunity to look. Let's all look. Someone's going to find it. Maybe I'll find it. Maybe Shane will find a third advantage. Who knows?
Yeah. So after 10 minutes of increasingly tense music, Shifty Shane somehow finds a third.
Well, he knows how to find the things. He's like Russell Hance out there. He knows where they're hidden. So he just knows how to, like, look in the little spots. He knows how Eli's hiding them now.
Who needs allies when you have 3 advantages?
And no idea what to do with any of them. No idea what to do with any of them.
Are we sure production didn't identify Shifty Shane as Mr. Charisma of the season? Knew he would be an overwhelming fan favorite and was planting the advantages for Shane to find.
Look, he's not exactly giving me Russell Hance or Ben Dreisbergen vibes in terms of saving the edit of the season.
Dreisbergen?
Dreisbergen.
Dreisbergen.
That was a very minor fuck up compared to letting Shane find 3 fucking advantages. We're now with Shane until mid-merge. So we now know.
I can see him, I can see them splitting votes on him and having him go to EOE with 2 idols and a legacy advantage.
No, he loses the idols, I think they said.
That's what I mean. Like, they'll be gone. He will get voted out with them.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned that if you went to Edge, you'd lose your advantage.
It was on his clue when he read it out.
Yeah. Yes, there you go. Yeah.
But that said, so we actually see some really critical strat chats between Danny and Michelle this episode.
With Leah talking in the background. That was just everything.
Yes. I mean,
having a chat.
Story of my life. So Danny and Michelle, originally they come together. And I just want to make sure I give people the right credit here. So Michelle points out after he finds this idol, we can't vote Shane now. He's found the idol.
Can we just talk about Shane finding the idol, which he did find, but they all find. Now he wanders up. He can't believe his luck. They've all been searching while he's on the can. He rolls up. He starts searching as well. Looks behind this little brush and finds it. Now he's got his back to everyone. Now there are 7 or 6 of them there, and he just naturally assumes that surely one of them saw him find it, even though I think if you look at the footage, none of them saw him. But he had his back to them, and he has another idol and another advantage. It's actually not too bad to let them know you have one, I guess.
I agree.
So I think it was the really right call for him just to announce it, because he thinks they saw him anyway. I get why he thought that. But even if that's wrong, them knowing he has this one is great for him to survive this vote. And then he's got others that they sort of know about and one that no one knows about.
And it couldn't have gone better for him because Danny assumed that the thing he found in the first challenge was a clue, and that so she only thinks he's got one thing. She's seen him find something and now find an idol, and she assumes they're one and the same. Did
she think it was the clue? I thought she thought it was his idol that he sort of fake found.
Like he said something about she thought he had found the idol on the way to the bathroom.
Okay,
and so she thought maybe in the first challenge what he found was a clue.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Regardless, Shane is telling us in confessionals that he wants to play this idol so that everybody thinks all of his advantages are flushed.
It's the right thing to do.
It's genius. Shane, currently player of the season, who would have seen this. Danny,
can you just put that up there? Jules is correct. I don't. Yeah.
Thank
you, Danny. Always. Correct.
Danny has a conversation with Michelle, immediately says he's bullshitting. He's pulled out his existing idol. Michelle says, well, we can't vote out Shane now.
Danny is certain.
She has the same conversation with Joseph, who agrees that he couldn't have found a second idol. He's faking it with the first. And the most we see, I mean, it's clear that in the power rankings of original red, now on blue, Joseph is in the best spot, followed by Leah, who we're finding vaguely annoying, followed by Shifty Shane, who we only needed to see one photo to get a gut reaction to that. And now Shifty Shane has confirmed he's got an idol. We see a conversation between Michelle and Danny on the way to the challenge where Michelle suggests, is it Michelle? Yeah. She suggests splitting the votes, but we don't know what would happen there.
Well, what are they going to split? Like, it's 4-3. They just have to hope Joseph's coming over to them and be certain about that. It's sort of risky to split.
Very risky.
You might be better off just telling Shane we're voting for this person. Tell him we're voting out Leah. Pile the votes on him and hope that his one vote goes on Leah, that if he plays something, she's the one that goes out.
I think that's too risky too. I would not. I would be.
It is too risky. It is risky, but I think that's the only way you can play it. Oh, I'll just
vote Leah, and then I can split on Joseph and Shane the next.
And make him super paranoid. Make him feel like he is going, and then not give him any votes so that he plays the idol.
But why wouldn't you just be more safe? Vote out Leah and then split on Shane and Joseph next time.
Yeah.
The risk is.
I would say try and get him to play it without putting any votes on him, though. Like, have the votes on Leah, but convince him he is getting votes and that he has to play his idol.
You probably want to convince him he is, because you don't want him playing the idol on Leah.
Mm.
Which I don't know if he would do anyway, but you don't want him thinking about doing that.
Yeah. The last piece of spicy tea that we get from Blue.
Can we just say, Shane has watched no Survivor, I believe. Like, no Survivor. So he sort of which makes this sort of idol situation quite enjoyable, because I think a super fan would be losing their fucking mind if they had 3 advantages of all the ways they could possibly play them and all the things they could possibly do. And he's just sort of chill about it.
Look, another idol.
And he's coming up with strategies about it that are like tried and true Survivor strategies. You've seen them before, but he's just coming up with them on his own. But they're simple and safe. Like, I'm going to make sure everyone sees I have this one, so everyone thinks I don't have the other one, which is like a perfectly good strat. But he's not thinking about, I could play this on Leah and then this one on me and then, like, take out everyone and whatever. Like, he's just going to play these for himself, cruise in the merge. And even if he gets to merge, I don't think he's going to be a target at merge, right? Unless he's played an idol to save himself at that point. Like,
or unless he hasn't played any idol and they're like, we know he's got an idol, we need to target him.
He'll just play the legacy advantage.
The guy comes back from the challenge win and says, thank goodness we won the challenge. I was really nervous about that. I'm like, my brother in Christ, you have a bag full of advantages. Why are you concerned about winning the challenge?
Isn't it better to save them all for the merge and just go nuts at merge? Like, isn't that better?
Still.
Because he's going to.
If anyone was going to have 2 idols, I would want it to be someone who can have a Parvati Shallow moment, play one for one ally, one for another. I would love that, but he's not going to do that. He's just going to be like, I might play this idol now, and here's my legacy. And he'll end up in final 3 somehow with, yeah.
That's
going to happen. Final 3 with 3 advantages played and 0 votes to win the game.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shane. That's what's going to happen.
Every podcast is a Shane roast, and I'm sorry, Shifty Shane. So
yeah, Shane is this podcast Dale. They do this to Dale on the Melbourne one. Sorry, Shane.
The last piece of blue tea that we get that I want to discuss is Danny revealing what in her mind is her core alliance. So she says that her core alliance is herself, Michelle, Sam, and Christy. Which, again, Christy's got a lot of friends in this game.
That's what we called, way back in, episode 1, 2. We saw that. Yeah.
Yes. She says she's happy to bring in Luke as the 5th, which is great, I guess, if Luke makes it that far. Are we concerned for Luke if we do get to this kind of vote splitting scenario with Shifty Shane and all of his idols, do we think there's now a danger of Luke potentially going pre-merge if he's the most expendable member of the team?
I think that's not the person Shane would idle out. I think Luke's in a lot of trouble come merge. He's going to get maxed.
Luke's in trouble if Danny and that group need to throw someone under the bus. It'll be him. Yeah. But I think if Shane is making that call, it's not Luke.
And it's not because like Shane's playing the super strategic game and Luke's like not a good strategic choice, which he's not. It's just I just don't think he's going to be vibing. I think he'll be vibing with Luke. I think he'll like Luke, and I think he'll probably look more like a Michelle or a Danny as his targets.
Yeah. And Shane seemed to have some sort of trust in Leah, so I think if he's going to pull out an idol and make some move, he will approach Leah and Joseph, and I think they will be pushing the target onto either Danny or Michelle.
If he tells Joseph that he's got something and he's planning on using it in this tribal, Joseph is going to immediately run off and tell all the Blues, and they're going to work out how to strategize around it. That is what would happen in that. He should not tell Joseph a single fucking thing. He could tell Leah.
Trust Leah, though.
Leah's fine, but I wouldn't tell Joseph anything about what I was doing if I was Shane.
I love Joseph, and I would die for him.
But we agree, right? Joseph would run straight to the Blues and we'll go, oh my God, Shane's got this. How do we counter it?
Joseph will do whatever is best for Joseph.
I think Joseph's vibing with the Blues. I think he thinks his blue people can be his people. I don't think he's that into the old red guys.
I think Joseph can be anyone's person. Like, who isn't going to love him?
I love him.
I know.
Okay, let's go to the edge. No, we're going to the edge now. The edge now, possibly the highlight of the show. The edge.
Important note, JT, not salty. Not salty about PK.
JT would just like to know that he just wants some answers, but don't worry, he's not going to go ballistic. He's not going to go ballistic. It's all good, team. So apparently it's 2 degrees on the edge, not anywhere
He's wearing
else.
the Spider-Man Lycra t-shirt. 2 degrees.
I say if you've got it, flaunt it.
I don't believe it's 2 degrees. Let's be real. I'm not buying it.
TK wants to talk about his own elimination. JT's not having a bar of it. JT wants answers. And he's not going to go ballistic. He's not going to go ballistic, but he just wants some answers. Okay?
I think this is perfectly fine from JT. Fuck you, TK. I've got nothing to offer you. I'm JT. I've got nothing to offer you about your vote. I know nothing about it. Let's talk about my vote.
Let TK have a moment to feel his feelings. He just got voted out. There's a whole thing of emotions going through his head. Give him a minute and then grill him. You wait.
I know how TK felt. He's like, I'm not listening to you. Why was I voted out? That's exactly what it was like.
It's literally you. Literally you.
It's like when someone's telling a boring story and you just want to tell you a better one. You're like, yep. Can I go now? Is it my turn?
It's like other people's dreams. I like other people's photos. I like other people's stories. If I'm not in them, I don't give a shit.
I have had to listen to CK's bachelor party best man speech that he gave like 16 years ago.
That was a wedding speech, thank you, and it was the greatest speech ever given.
Was Annabelle in the story that she doesn't want to hear?
No.
Of course not. But my stories are so good that it overrides that rule.
Terrible story. So anyway, JT wants to know this, and this does deserve recapping. Honestly, every second of this deserves recapping. So JT wants to know, look, rumor has it that I just wasn't having enough conversations with people. Is this true? And TK lays it out and he says, look, you were having conversations. I just wasn't vibing with you. They were just not enjoyable conversations. I mean, he doesn't say those words, but that's essentially what he said. JT's voice goes up about 2 octaves. That's okay. That's okay. I'm fine. I'm not going ballistic. This is a man not going ballistic.
I'm totally fine.
Totally fine.
What do you mean rumors? Rumors from who? Jazz? She never met any of these people.
Amanda, you mean?
Amanda, yeah. Amanda never met any of these people. Who's giving him the rumors?
Amanda is giving him answers.
Amanda was never met any of the Blues. How does she know why TK was voted out?
They're literally 3 meters apart from each other, and they already were gossiping about the TK elimination before the challenge. I don't think that there was a lot of separation here.
Okay, you can see them walking around the background.
It's very much a one world vibe. I'm getting.
Yeah.
Very one world vibes. TK is throwing Ethan under the bus a little bit. JT's trying to emphasize to TK, who's not quite grasping it, that Christy is a dangerous social player and they sided with her over
No
here.
shit.
And then I want to get your feedback on this. Amanda finds the advantage/disadvantage that has an impact on the game. How did we feel about this one?
Like the idea, hate the execution.
Agreed.
Give us more details, please.
There's got to be something for the eliminator players to do at Edge. Like, there's got to be things for them to find. I like that there's something there for them, but this was extremely overpowered. In a challenge where it's first to 3 and you are deducting a point already, that's a big gap. I think if it was like... No, it's first to 3, wasn't it?
Best of 5?
Yes, the first one to...
The first one to 3, but if you were disadvantaged, you had to get 4.
So they start, yeah.
So this is my issue with it. It wasn't actually the advantage. The advantage, you know what? Edges having an impact on the game, even if it's quite strong, whatever. I don't care. It was the shitty-ass explanation. We didn't get to hear her clearly read it aloud. Throughout the whole challenge, we had no idea what the disadvantage was. It wasn't until Christy explained it in a confessional post-challenge that we really had a clear understanding what the actual disadvantage was.
No, it was explained at the start.
I understood it.
Was it? Okay, maybe I just wasn't paying for enough attention. Yeah. Apologies.
Okay. Yeah, so the red tribe started on -1.
Okay, cute.
But it's building on... Look, it made it go slightly longer, but they weren't prepared for that, so it's another side. Like, how are you not prepared for your -1 by only having 5 dishes, by then having to crack out the muesli bars that almost killed Christy? Like, when you knew Jazz was going to find this advantage. Amanda was going to find this advantage. Or, like, to be honest, the advantage might have been there before the soccer challenge as well, potentially. But equally, I don't like these one-on-one challenges they keep doing for the reasons that Max said, his hottest of hot takes last week, that these one-on-ones are really bad where people are still trying to work out their tribe dynamics, trying to work out who's strong, who's not, who's going to get voted out, who's not. I don't mind one-on-one, but everyone needs to compete. Everyone needs to do something. There's no reason, other than the time-saving factor, to only have 5 or 4 actually do it. Like, here's a hot tip for production. In Real Survivor, everyone does the challenge. They just edit it to make it best of 3 of whatever and put in the most interesting ones because that's better TV. And I don't think that's what's happened here. I think people are deliberately being left out of the challenge, and I don't think that is good gameplay.
Agreed.
Oh no, I think we're watching this in real time, actually, based on the hunt for the idol. I don't think there's anything left on the cutting room floor.
It's a one-day game. I don't think they leave much out.
Let's be real. With these fan-made games, historically, they go a long time. These goes with 50 minutes. The Canberra ones, have gone over an hour sometimes, so is Backyard. I'm really enjoying the Melbourne 25-minute special. I think that's about the right time. And, of course, that means there was less me than I wanted to see. But even with that factor, I thought it was a better production choice than the 52-minute bonanza of let's throw everything in there.
Yeah, I think extending the episode just to make it the 40 or 50 minutes is not great. If you've got the content, then, yeah, make it long. But if you don't, shorter is fine. You don't need to fluff.
All right.
So I still think everyone should get a chance at the challenge. And then, of course, we get the controversial issue. Before we get into the most
gross food eating challenge debate.
Could we be any more offensive?
Let's go. Jules, start.
I mean, calling it a gross food eating challenge is, if they don't do it on American Survivor anymore because it's culturally insensitive, and then they just got a bunch of Chinese dishes that I would probably eat everything there except maybe the chicken's feet, but even then I'd give it a go. How was this a gross food eating challenge to get like the most eccentric items off a Chinese food menu? Abalone is delicious. I'm sorry, Ethan, but I don't know what was wrong with it.
I don't see how duck or chicken in any event is the most controversial item on any menu, except for the fact that it's probably been sitting there for 2 hours, not properly cooked and might give you salmonella. But that's not the restaurant's fault. That's the production sitting there.
And Eli being like, I wouldn't eat any of these items. Okay, uncultured. But, that doesn't mean it's gross.
It's not just the gross food eating challenge. It's then we bring out the food. It's then, this is Asian food. But I just want to emphasize, quote, all of it is bad and I wouldn't eat any of it.
But it's
Okay.
I
edible.
would.
The food is honey chicken,
Yum.
duck breast,
Yum.
spicy eel,
Yum.
a muesli bar,
Yeah.
I don't think
Probably
the
my
muesli
least
bar
favourite thing.
is
abalone,
Delicious.
and
Is
chicken.
abalone even strictly? Is any of this actually even strictly Asian food?
I haven't eaten meat in
Hmm.
over 10 years. I have eaten all of these things. These are standard Uber Eats menu items from a Chinese restaurant.
Hang on, let
And
me get up Uber Eats on my phone. I'll see how many of these things I can
Then-
find.
Could not be any more anti-Asian with the systematic elimination of every Asian player from this game. We then essentially have the gross Asian food challenge of standard, normal Chinese dishes. I'm surprised we didn't see Peking duck and fried rice on the menu. What the fuck was this?
And
This is
then,
a-
even if it's not just a gross food eating challenge, even if they just say, all right, we've got some food here, you're going to eat it, you don't have the water while they're eating. They got to swallow, then have a drink. So basically,
Too easy.
it's too easy. And then for the tiebreaker, you bring out a muesli bar. So you bring out something hard and make them eat it quickly to nearly kill Christy Bennett. It all came down to the fact that she couldn't open her wrapper. Apparently it was childproof. That's why Danny knows how. She's got kids. Like, so how many issues do you want to have with this challenge? All of them.
And I think there's nothing wrong. Look, they called it a gross food eating challenge. That's mistake number one. There's nothing wrong with this food. Number two, you can do what we would call a gross food eating challenge or a challenging food eating contest by having things that people might find difficult to stomach. Say you can get these
dollop of
sausages that are
wasabi.
covered in chilies, or a big bit of wasabi, or like the stinkiest blue cheese you can find. Like, that's not offensive to
delicious.
anyone, but some people might find that pretty difficult to stomach. So there are ways to do
Do the
this.
cinnamon challenge.
Issue
Yeah,
number 3, there was water.
Water. And they almost killed Christy Bennett.
Okay, and I have extra info on that. Apparently, it was much worse than we saw. She was choking on the muesli bar. Maddie P had to do it. You can't do the Heimlich maneuver anymore, so he had to smash her back to dislodge the muesli bar. Nearly killed Christy Bennett.
So hang on, Matt. Is this not going to be relevant to the edit that Matt Pitcher saved Christy's life? Surely
Literally
that's
saved
going to
her
come up
life.
later.
Okay? We nearly killed Christy Bennett for this half-assed challenge where Christy Bennett nearly died. I hate it.
It was so
I hate
much worse than you saw. Look, I think we should have seen Christy Matt saving Christy. Chloe removed a splinter from my finger sometime in Melbourne Survivor, and I was almost wedded to her just for that. I can imagine how Christy feels about Matt P right now.
Well, Matt P, and we need to call out Matt P for his problematic behavior in this challenge. So first of all, waltzes in screaming, "Good!" It's giving toxic masculinity. Second of all, Maddie P, refusing to participate in the challenge even when it was vegetarian. It's giving man from Broken Hill.
Oh my God, Christy is watching.
Christy is watching. Christy is watching and commenting.
Good. Good.
That's amazing.
Love this.
Hey,
guy.
Christy, we love you.
So, all right, getting into the details. Christy's already pissed because it's opening up with a loud announcement that everything's going to involve meat. And Christy's like, bitch, you have a celebrity on this season. The one thing I told you was I'm not going to eat meat. And now you're making this a honey chicken eating challenge. Go fuck yourself. That's not what she said out loud, but that's what we were all thinking.
That is exactly what she was thinking. Eli, I fucking told you I'm a vegetarian. I'm on your fucking
How was there
bullshit
not
LRG.
one
Don't fuck with
vegetarian
me.
item there?
You had
Except for the
one
fucking
job.
muesli bar.
One job. Anyway, so we start to go through the matchups. And this is where Lizzie, the last remaining Asian player in
It's like,
the
I'm
game,
fine.
steps up. She goes, it's an Asian food eating challenge. I'm Asian. And she smashes it. She wins 2 out of 2 of her performances.
And can we circle back to the
Hang on.
cast assessment?
According to Eli, there was vegan chicken. Where
So
was
there
this?
was honey chicken. It was vegan honey chicken.
So wait, it wasn't actually chicken?
Who knows?
Was
Regardless.
The chicken
Wait,
Think of
substitute?
that. Cast assessment. Lizzie's pet peeve is people that don't eat all the chicken off a chicken wing, and then she had to eat a chicken's foot. Her
I
skills
love her.
came to fruition.
That's
You
quite
literally it went,
foreshadowing
there you
there,
go, done.
actually. Love that.
I'm just saying, if they hadn't cut Amanda, maybe they would have had an extra leg up in this challenge. So Leah versus, let's go through them. We've got Leah versus Lizzie on the chicken feet. The Queen's getting into it. Actually, I wanted to shout out Lizzie, Mathematics Queen, worked out that they had one less player than the other team going into this challenge. So snaps for our mathematical wizard. We also have Shane versus Ethan. Ethan comes in talking a big game. Also says his one is bigger, which I thought was a dangerous thing to say. Anyway.
To be fair, the portions were not equal.
No, they weren't.
Leah did.
Fair complaint.
Oh, actually, that was another comment I wanted to make. Thank you for bringing it up. Leah was excited to participate because she's not a vomiter. Hot. We love to see it.
Who's vomiting? It's this fucking duck.
Yeah.
The only reason they would be vomiting is because they're trying to eat it too quickly.
Jazz wins the Michelle Jazz matchup on the spicy eel. We have Sam versus Merlene on the steamed duck breast. Luke versus Lizzie on the honey chicken. And we have Danny versus Christy on the muesli bar.
The tie-breaking muesli bar. Well, first Christy is put on the thing before it and subs out because it's meat. And that's where you see her just look Eli dead in the fucking eye and say, I'm a vegetarian. Can I swap
sub
out? And Eli's like...
I think the can I part was just for decoration. I think
if that was Maddie King
bitch.
sitting in that spot and he said, Eli, I'm a vegetarian. Can I swap out? Eli would be like, fuck no. You sit there and lose the challenge. But for Christy, he realized how much I reckon he was in danger of Christy just fucking walking off the show. Like just walking straight the fuck out if he made her eat that meat. That's what was going to happen.
CK over the jacket over that, let me tell you.
Yeah. She would have been out if she's like, yes, you can swap. And then comes Matt, and I'm like, because I was like, why isn't Matt P coming in? He hasn't done something, but he's a vegetarian as well. So somebody else gets to do a second one, and the person who does the second one was one of their best competitors. If I was on Blue, I would have been pretty fucking annoyed about it.
And you know what? Matty P, again, I felt like he's the reason they lost this challenge, because a key thing we know about Matty in this game is he's got a secret stash of muesli bars that he is spacing out throughout the game. So he's actually got a lot of experience opening and smashing muesli bars. And I just think that he could have come in clutch at this moment, and it's all his fault we lost Queen Lizzie this episode.
And it's also, if he'd done it, then maybe, well, hang on. Christy lost, or you think he would have won? Yeah. And also, if he almost died, if Matt almost died, it wouldn't have been fatal to the production as Christy died.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
And then maybe we would have had Christy saving Maddie's life.
It's true.
And then he would have fangirled so hard he might have died anyway.
Anyway, I think they've managed to progressively top their worst challenge week on, week out. We had the child's puzzle, the worst one-on-one game of soccer ever seen, and now this food nonsense. I can't wait to see how they bring it down a new level next year.
Are we making it a mission to offend as many people as possible?
Yes.
Oh, we miss you too, Max. We know you've had some great lukewarm takes.
Yes, I'm only mildly cold here without your lukewarm heat.
So we're moving over to back to Red, who have now got to go to Tribal again. And we have Matt, who's still simping. He says, Christy's going to stick with us forever. I know it. Jazz
I call bullshit.
Points out that actually at this point, Christy's now spent more time with them than she has on OG Blue. So show me the lie.
I think Christy is going to stick with one of these two when they eventually on next vote, it's going to be one of the two groups get split. Was it the right move to give Christy all the power in the next vote? Or are they just simping too hard? They don't see that.
They don't see that.
They don't see that.
Because she has all the power.
Yeah, she literally has all the power now. True.
Christy, the four of them are not going to group up and vote her out. That's not going to happen.
No, they're not. I mean, Matt's simping way too aggressively for that.
And Marlene's simping a bit.
Marlene is definitely soft simping. We've got some soft simping. Christy thinks that TK played the disadvantage, which is interesting.
Yeah, they all blame TK. It's sort of like he's such an asshole. We voted him out, and now he's angry at us for it. So of course he fucking did it. He's that strategic little bastard. Like no one thinks that like Amanda's doing it, and they don't understand
Meanwhile,
why
Amanda's like, oh, I'll give it to the side where my original Reds have the numbers. Like she was actually doing it for the people that voted her out.
Yeah, I think she was hoping that one of them would go.
I was unclear there.
Then you would give it to the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, if they go to tribal, there's more chance of one of them getting voted out. Like arguably, like I don't think that makes any sense. I think you're right, Jules, but I presume that was her thinking.
I thought she wanted to save the Reds.
Yeah, we need to ask Amanda. It was unclear if she meant to advantage or disadvantage them.
Can someone send Amanda a text and ask her that, please?
Yeah. So we need to roast Ethan here again. Because Ethan goes to Jazz, and I have been saying, I think last time as well, I'm very concerned about this artificial split that they're creating in Original Red. He goes to Jazz and basically tells Jazz, I don't think we should keep working together at the merge. We should split off, go our separate ways, but, have each other's backs. And Jazz is like, yeah, I guess we shouldn't be married to each other after this.
Is that what he was saying? Like, I thought he was trying to suggest that when they got to merge, they will be like secret alliance and no one will know.
They'll do an onion alliance thing where they're together, but they pretend not to be and bring other people in, but they're the core.
I can tell you as a fact that shit doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
You're walking around bad-mouthing your alliance members, like as a supposed strategy, just results in you thinking, do they actually they believe that or not? I'm hearing too much bad shit from them. Time for them to go. It doesn't work.
Is that what you and Brady were doing?
Ethan was straight up telling her, "I'm done with you. Goodbye."
And that's how she seems to interpret it exactly. So,
I don't think he meant that, but she may have interpreted it that way.
We don't really get so we get confessionals from Matt, Merlene, and Ethan all saying they want to stick for strong. Matt maybe wants to do a split vote. Merlene is softly simping for Christy, but thinking of flipping on the boys because we're manifesting this reality. And we also see now Lizzie and Christy going to Ethan and trying to convince him to flip on the women. Lizzie wants a break. She's always Liz as an ally. She's never voted correctly, and she wants to get the upper hand. How do we think this went down?
This was a very difficult situation. It's one of these ones where after they voted out TK, they realized that was the mistake and they shouldn't have voted out TK, particularly for either of the group, because they now are in a tough position. Okay, let's say you are Ethan and you flip on Merlene and Jazz. Then you're still setting up a 2-2 situation, except you're leaving an angry Jazz. Now, let's say you voted out Merlene. You've got an angry Jazz who's clearly going to go against you with Lizzie and Christy. So you're fucked. So you can't really do it. They actually probably needed to keep TK, who was more likely to be maybe jump in with the boys, or with someone else. I don't know. The problem is TK was running a whole blue strong argument while he was there instead of actually talking about flipping to them, whereas Christy was sort of talking to flipping to them. So he didn't do a great job of putting them in a position to think that was the right move. But they're now looking at the situation where they had the power, and now if you start counting the future votes, you're like, we're in a lot of trouble.
They've snookered themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me challenge your gendered assumptions there, CK. You think that TK was more likely to side with the men because he's also a man, but we've seen both Ethan and Matt have moments with Christy, who they've now obviously feel confident that she would side with them over the women. What makes you think that TK would have been a better bet for them than Christy?
I think they should have voted Lizzie. I don't think they should have voted Christy. I think Lizzie should have been the target, not TK.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I think Christy and TK both provided good options for the two of them. I don't think Lizzie provides an option for them.
Okay. All right.
But yeah.
Do we have?
But their dream is that Christy will be with the two of them, and I'm sort of getting that vibe a little bit from the edit. What do you guys think?
Oh, Christy's with the men. I feel worried for Merlene. Merlene has gone pre-merge if they go back. Like this split I said this last time, it's always been bad for Merlene. They manifested OG Red manifested their own split, and because Merlene targeted Ethan before the swap, Merlene is always going to be the one who gets cut. Like this is not good for her. She should have when she was thinking about flipping hair, this is when she needed to flip.
I feel like Christy, the Matt simping for Christy, Matt's now saved her life. I think Christy's getting vibes she likes from Ethan. He's probably not super fanning with her as much because he doesn't even know the fuck she is. So like she's got a good mix of like a more down to earth partner and the super fan simp that saved her life. And I feel like Christy would look at someone like Merlene and go, "Oh, she likes me." But you know what? I think Merlene would like to have a feather in her cap and taking me out. Like I could see Christy maybe having those thought processes.
And I think Matt and Ethan are ones who are going to look at what Christy can help them with come the merge. I think they can see that, all right, we're going to need to pick up some more allies come merge. Christy comes with allies on the other side. I think they're smart enough to use those connections. And maybe I'm manifesting this because I want my podcasting co-hosts to work together, but I'm hoping that come merge, we get Danny, Michelle, Sam, come along with Ethan and Christy and Matt, and they're all going to be the alliance that controls the merge, and I'll be here for that. Possibly.
I could see it happening.
Because if Danny and Ethan never work together, I'm going to be so mad. Like
I'd be surprised, but you know, I've done podcasts with Ma. I've never worked with Ma. We're going to get John on in a couple of weeks. He's keen to come on. I never worked with John in Melbourne Survivor, so like you know, it doesn't mean anything that you do a podcast together.
Sorry,
I know, but
you mean nothing to us, is what CK's saying.
Yeah.
Now moving on to tribal.
No, so I think what should they have done? Merlene and Jazz, I think, should have flipped on the boys here and not kept Lizzie and Christy in the game.
And probably cut Matt.
Yeah.
No, they know about Ethan's safety without power. You have to cut him.
Yeah, but once he doesn't play it at the start of the tribal, gone.
But he will play it.
Yeah,
why would he know that?
If you cut Matt first, he'll play it. So I think they needed to secretly flip and cut Ethan. You're right.
Yeah, you're right. Cut Ethan. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Jules is spot on. Cut Ethan, and then next time you can cut Matt. Yeah.
I think so. I think the women needed
the Survivor winner, the OG Survivor winner, thinks I was right.
Said this first.
We all agreed.
I'm framing that. I am fucking framing that. It's going to be my new Facebook profile picture.
It really will. Oh, you're like the cover photo at the top.
Yeah.
So moving on to tribal, we've talked about the bong in the background before, but I need to bring it up. The circumcised green penis.
What?
The circumcised green penis. It's very distracting.
I haven't noticed this. What is this?
How have you not noticed it?
How have you not noticed it?
Look, I'm not the biggest fan of tribal councils in like real Survivor these days, so I probably tune out of them a little bit more than I tune out of the challenges, to be perfectly frank. They just because no one says anything of note. Like they're all like, "Oh, how you going? Oh yeah, it's good." Like, "Oh yeah, how's everyone getting on? Yeah, we're doing well. You know, it's a game. We've got to play hard."
You don't like Eli's ladle to snuff the no fire on the torch?
The ladle is a bit budget.
So we had a bong. We have a circumcised green penis. As you say,
a bong? I'm going to pay attention next week.
There's a bong and a penis. And we can fast forward through most of the tribal council except for Lizzie, who is really fighting for her spot. She perhaps doesn't articulate it as well as the three of us just have. But she says, look, you're going to be down in the votes at the merge. You're going to be down in the votes at the next tribal. Now is time to get the upper hand. Don't be boring.
I love not being boring.
No one likes boring.
No.
Do you know who hates boring? Production.
Yeah.
They hate boring. Everyone else does too.
It's a unanimous vote for Lizzie, and in the same way there were 2 votes for Merlene last time, it's Merlene who cops the votes this time. Merlene, you should have flipped. And no one has idols because Shane is hogging them all. And on Lizzie, on the way out, says, Ethan, this is his losing tribal council because She put too much trust in Ethan, and she wants revenge.
Did we see the content that made us feel that she would be putting trust in Ethan, or is that something we perhaps didn't see on the cutting room floor?
No, we did. I mean, he was the one who she went to last episode, the one she went to this episode, and he said, I'll get Matt involved. I think that she felt like he could, with the potential to flip was there. I mean, obviously, Christy.
Well, let's ask her. Lizzie, are you ready?
Yeah, let's bring
a black screen from you.
Bring the queen in. Bring the queen in.
Got a black screen from you. Are you there? Are you around?
I'm black screening while I do a wine.
Okay, here we come. I am. Now Annabelle's gone. What's she doing? All right.
Oh, I'm here. And then I'll bail momentarily. I just wanted to wine top up.
Okay, we're bringing in Annabelle's winner pick. Lizzie, hello.
Pick.
Hello.
Hey
guys.
Christy
Thanks for having me.
is very happy to see you.
Hey, Christy.
Oh my God, I love you so much. Icon, robbed goddess.
I've got nothing profound or no master plan to why I did so shit. There's no strategy there.
Let's just flag before we get into it, because in case you don't watch the show, we know there's Edge of Extinction. We know there's a possibility you come back. We don't want to know about whether you come back or not. We don't want to know who comes back. If you come back again, great, we get to interview you twice. But let's just assume, and we're just going to focus on this part of the game, the early part of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to make that clear, sorry. Somebody else is very excited you're here. A new viewer, perhaps a friend of yours, Wyland Films, is very excited. Never seen their comments before. First time commenter. Sam's very excited to see you as well. You're very popular with your cast and popular here on the show. Annabelle's going to stand you for now 5 minutes.
It's true. I just feel like sometimes hot people are really robbed.
Oh, God.
Especially in that fourth boot spot. It's like people are like, who's the hottest person on this cast? Why don't we just eliminate them? Because we're so threatened by how hot they are. And babe, disgusting.
I did so bad, though.
No, you didn't.
Oh, God.
What could you have done?
Every vote was a flop.
Okay, well, let's go back to your votes.
Lie.
Okay, so let's talk about you did vote incorrectly each time. So let's go to the first vote. You voted for Danny with.
How dare you vote for Danny
with JT?
The Danny Stan podcast.
What was your thinking about? Did you think the vote actually was Danny? I guess.
Yes. Oh, actually, let me think. I remember maybe thinking it was going to be 60% John and then maybe 40% me.
So why would you,
and then
why
JT.
was gonna be
I
you.
don't remember. No. Maybe it was
It's got to be. You voted for Danny.
40, 30, 30. I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was going home as well.
did you have a
So
special with JT?
obviously, there's some. You don't remember everything, but if you were the one who thought you were going home, wouldn't the smart play to be put the vote on the person who you thought was getting the majority votes, just in case?
That would be, that would have been the smart move. My brain does not work that fast, and I'm not cut out for like this one day game. I could not keep up.
I didn't get that impression on the show with your confessionals, the way you're talking to people. It seemed like you were playing a great game. I agree, the votes speak a different story, but the actual the edit was really good. It was really positive.
That doesn't matter what you say in the confessionals. The vote is that's where you shine. So it's like the track record, not good.
Well, what about the second vote? Christy tells us she told
the relationship with John. We've not even got into the relationship with John. So you are the only person defending him at this first vote.
I know.
Tell us about how you connected with him when no one else did.
I didn't play orgs with him. I think that must have been someone else.
That was Leah.
But I think on the walk up to the first challenge, we were next to each other, and then he was like, "Let's vote at Christy," and then that didn't happen. And then I was like, I don't want JT to go home. He needs an ally. And then he got voted out. And then we were on Edge together. And then...
Did the connection blossom there?
It did. The Edge bonds together.
I'm getting real Cook Island vibes from this whole situation. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Asians got to stick together.
It's true.
Well, you're all on edge of extinction now, so.
Yeah.
I don't think that was your reference, CK. It was Candace and what was the name of the guy who?
Billy.
Billy.
That's what I'm
Farsia.
talking about. Billy and Candace is my
Farsia, who
reference.
loved Candace
Oh.
so far, and she gave him nothing, and I love that.
That's the vibes I've got.
That's CK saying that you're out of his league. So okay, cute. All right, we can move on to your second tribal council, which is where you again voted for Merlene, but
Yeah.
it was CK who went. So why did you do that even when Christy gave you the tip off?
I don't know. They whispered it to me like 2 seconds before going in, like walking up to the challenge. And then my brain was like, oh, I'll still vote out Merlene. Like, I can't put TK's name down. And there's no strategy behind that. There was no like, oh, this will play off in the future or this will be a jury vote. I was like, I just can't put his name down. And then
You
it
felt
was
very
so
close to
bad.
him. You were aligned with him. You felt close with him.
Yeah. And then I thought like when, I don't know, that scene when I'm walking back telling them, oh, like this is why I voted TK. And I was like, oh my God, why did I just do that? I have to like cover it up somehow. But like, yeah, I don't know why.
Was it just Christy who told you, or did Ethan or Matt or any of the women or Merlene or Jazz give you a tip off too?
I think it was Christy.
It's Christy.
I think it was just Christy, yeah.
But you just felt
Remembering.
you shouldn't vote for TK.
No.
Yeah.
But you have to
Very
do in this
honourable.
game. That's like
Very
survivor
honourable.
number one. I don't know.
We love
that
it.
is the requirement. Yeah.
He was your number one, TK.
TK after we switched.
Okay, after you switched.
Oh yeah, so
Wasn't
tell us,
Christy.
who was
Did
your
you guys-
number one? Yeah. Who was
You
your number
Christy
one?
seemed so tight.
Upward?
Pardon?
You and Christy seemed so tight, particularly in this episode.
Yeah. No, I love Christy. She played a really good game, and like I'm glad that it actually wasn't her who got voted out, because it's like, in a way, the thesis of the show, having a returnee player, it like adds validity to the season and it gives us views. So it's like if she gets voted out first, it's like smart strategically, but like it's interesting having her keep going through the show, and then we get to watch how do players interact with her. Like you take a winner, and then will people want to play with her? Will we fangirl over her? Will we vote her out? So like it's good that she stayed in the end.
It provides an amazingly interesting dynamic for the LRG
Yes.
that we haven't been able to see in any other LRGs. It's not just exciting for the clicks and the promotion, which I think is very strong, as you say, but just that dynamic is really interesting and new. And it's like a returnee season, like with, Boston Rob or a Russell Hance, right? And I don't think you'd get the same effect with returnees from an LRG coming back. You're not going to get that super fandom of me and Annabel coming back, for example, on Melbourne Survivor or something. It just wouldn't happen, right? Maybe for Annabel, not for me. But this has that Boston Rob, Russell Hance vibe of like, oh my God, she's like a superstar, and everyone's just completely baffled by it.
Yeah, how will that play out?
Yeah.
How will she do on a fast-paced game?
So across pre-swap and post-swap, who did you feel closest with?
Closest with, I think I got to the breakfast really late. Like I was one of the last people, so that was to my detriment. So then at the breakfast, I was talking a lot with Amanda, and then on blue would be TK and Christy.
The breakfast thing seems to have been quite an important factor in early relationships. I think what we've heard is people were given a time range to which they could arrive, or was it a bit unclear when you should arrive?
I don't remember. I think it was like you have to be here by this time it starts. And then it would have been smart to go earlier.
Yeah.
Like that.
Are you the sort of person that gets to things early, or are you the sort of person who gets to things late?
Late, always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
How did you feel when during that challenge, standard Chinese food was brought out and called it a gross food eating challenge?
I was like, Asian food, chicken wings. That's like, I eat that all the time. Like, is that gross? I don't know.
No,
It's like,
None of it was gross.
put me in. I'll be fine. because I
Put me in, coach.
I hate it when people don't finish their food. Like, that's my number one pet peeve.
You know, the chicken wings.
Yeah, like a
That
poor
was- that-
Vietnamese farmer picks out each individual grade of rice. Like, you got to eat everything on your plate.
That was on your piece of paper, your introductory document that we had 3 lines.
Foreshadowing.
It was foreshadowing. That's right.
Yeah,
You were
loved
ready
it.
for that. It's your moment.
But I will defend the vegans and the vegetarians. Like, if you don't want to eat it for ethical reasons, moral
agree.
reasons, the planet,
Absolutely.
that's fine. But if you're a fussy eater for no reason other than you're just picky, nah.
Well,
Shots
my
fired
view
at
about the vegetarians is, other than Christy, who obviously was going to get subbed out, because she was walking off the show, was the fact was, you can be a vegetarian and say I'm not eating it, but it costs you tribal point, in my view.
No. Sorry, you're not going to have I can't eat this because I'm dairy intolerant,
I would just
lactose
have lactose.
intolerant.
Exactly.
If you don't eat meat or dairy products for a long enough time, you no longer have the enzymes in your stomach to break that food down, and you will have a profound reaction to that.
Oh, look.
But
They
also, you
should have
shouldn't have
had-
to compromise your beliefs for a game.
Yeah.
Also, they should have had more than one vegetarian option, and he should have said, this is one of the vegetarian ones, and then the vegetarians can come up and do the vegetarian one. Like, it could have been easily managed. Annabelle's now you're a fan. Because you're both vegetarian.
bullshit.
You're both vegetarians, of course, so.
Yes.
I take your point.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a line. You say there is a line
Yes.
in between game and real life. I take your point.
Well, it's just like bodily.
And if someone didn't eat food for religious beliefs, and then that was on the table,
Oh,
no
I
one
don't
would have an
know.
issue with them not eating that.
Is that an excuse?
Well, now Lizzie's.
I don't know.
because
That's
I mean,
important.
yeah. It all boils down to similar things, I think. Regardless if it's if your body doesn't have the enzymes to break something down and you're going to have a allergic reaction to it, I'm not fucking eating it for a 1-day LRG. Fuck my dick.
Yeah. So it could have been, we've discussed, it could have been done in a way where the vegetarians were given proper vegetarian options.
I mean, we could have had vegan Peking duck at this point. That's how gross the food was. We could have had some vegan Peking duck.
What would you view on that? What is vegan duck like? Is that a fair thing to put as disgusting food? Gross food?
I didn't know what it was.
I've had vegan cheese before. It was horrible.
Yeah,
Horrible.
vegan cheese is disgusting.
Yeah.
What about gluten-free bread? That shit's gross.
Yeah.
I would smash this challenge. If this was an Asian-themed gross eating challenge, if we do a vegan-themed gross food challenge and it's like fake vegan cheese, gluten-free bread, I'm the Lizzie of this challenge. So bring it on.
And I'm the
Do we
Christy
think that-
Bennett who's like, nah, not
Do we
eating it.
Do you think that's an acceptable gross food eating challenge? Vegan food substitutes.
Yeah.
Just as acceptable
Vegan,
as gluten-free.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. There you have it.
It's on the same level.
And no water. You can wash it down with gluten-free beer.
Kombucha. With kombucha.
I like kombucha.
I like this challenge idea.
There we go. We solved it. There you go. Season 2, Eli.
Sydney,
that's how you do it.
we're available for your consulting needs for the upcoming
And you know what,
challenges.
Eli, you can say the same thing. You can say this food is all bad and I wouldn't eat any of it because it's still true.
No one eats.
I want to jump in here and give Lukewarm Max his moment. And so he likes to ask everyone on the exit interviews, what was the most fun moment for you? Like, how has this sort of changed your life? Or like, what about this really brought you life?
I liked just talking with other fans and meeting everyone. That was the best part. Like the relationships you form and the friendships you make from everyone. Like everyone, the whole cast is lovely and like we meet up. So that's been all the stuff that's happened post-game as well. Because in the game, you don't really like get to talk to people. And like you're having fun, but then it's like the aftermath. And then we had a reunion party and like just all of that thing. Everything that's come out of it, and also meeting Christy. and getting to talk. Yeah, there was lots of fan moments that you didn't get to see. Like there was one bit when I think it was when Red was doing their first tribal, when we were all gathering around and like talking to Christy, and then she was saying, we were just like grilling her, like, do you get to wear sunscreen? Do you get a razor? And we were telling her like, oh, do you know that on Peridium's YouTube video, like top 10 tribal council performances, like you're the number one, like you're his number one tribal council performance. And she didn't know that. We were like fangirling and like little moments like that. That was really cool. Like just getting to talk about the game.
That would be amazing. And we thought that would happen. You know, when on Canberra, people were gushing over getting to meet Connor. Like, I could imagine meeting Christy Bennett compared to Connor. Like, no offense, Connor, but like Christy Bennett's Final Travel Council was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. 100%. It saved the Australian franchise. I don't think we get a season 2 without it. If Lee wins that season, we don't get a season 2. Like, I would have been gushing over to her. I'm gushing that she mentioned my name in this chat.
Yeah.
So I certainly
I wouldn't have been Maddie P level of excited, but that face would have been inside. I'd have been like,
yeah, I think a lot of us were playing it cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing it cool. It's like I can gush over after. Just play it cool now.
Yeah.
If I play it cool afterwards, she might be my friend.
Yeah, that's right. Or if I gush over it now, she might be my friend.
Oh, that's it. So how much of a fan were you before playing the game, Lizzie?
Oh, I didn't really watch much of the Australian seasons except for the first one and then All Stars. And then most of the American seasons, like post Heroes versus Villains, I've watched, except for the recent ones. I haven't watched it. I'm a fake fan.
Did you not watch the first 20 because you were too young? Is that why you haven't watched the first 20?
Oh, I will get around to it, but like I keep.
If you want to know how old I am, Lizzie, I was watching Australian Outback in the real time while I was in high school.
So that was like, when was the first Australian one? The one before?
No, Christy? I mean it's like American season.
American season 2 was in Australia.
American season 2 was in Australia. I was in
2001.
2001
okay,
was in 12.
69. He's 69, so it's not surprising.
I'm an old man. Actually, I'm about the same age as Maddie Pitcher, but like look way older.
Oh, yeah, I know. Do you actually know how old he is? Did you?
He's
find
40. He's older than me.
He's not 40.
Turn 40.
25. 39.
Yeah.
He's about to turn 40, like next week or the week after.
Yeah.
His
I was asking
skincare
what his
routine is.
Yes.
Flawless.
I was asking him during the game, and he said sunscreen, and then he's a pharmacist as well, so he's got the good drugs.
He's got the hookup. He's got the hookup.
Yeah. But his skin amazing.
He's got the behind the counter stuff with the rejuvenating chemicals.
Yeah.
So I know. Christy has.
I was going to say, what a compliment from Christy.
Do you
Lizzie
think he
would thrive in a longer game? She had a slow burn game like Michaela. That's a great compliment to be compared to Michaela.
Oh, thank you.
I want to know, Lizzie, if you came back a second time and say played like a 3-day game as opposed to a 1-day game, how would you do it differently?
What would I do? I would be. That's a good question. Maybe like talk to more people. Definitely. I think I was so like camera shy and just like felt awkward around the cameras that I didn't like socialize properly and I wasn't like my normal self. I think I was like so like nervous the whole time that like, I don't know. I think in a longer game, you'd get used to that and then you'd forget that you're being filmed and you worry like how you're going to come across. And then maybe like, I don't know. When I watch it back, I just look at my posture. That's all I'm thinking about. It's like I just see how hunched I am.
No.
I'll have better posture on the next season.
It's funny because you're giving us these vibes that you were really uncomfortable out there, but the whole time I watched you, it seemed like you were really comfortable and really in a good position, you know, like not necessarily the numbers, but in terms of just how you were playing the game, how you were talking with people, just seemed very, very casual and at ease. It didn't seem like you were feeling really nervous just from watching it.
Oh my God, no, I was on the inside and like just having people film you and like it was so fast paced. I was a mess, like flustered. I didn't know what was going on.
Like, I understand that's what was actually happening. I'm just saying, because you're telling me, but what I'm saying is that how it came across on the screen was not that. You came across it, I think, in a really positive way that looked like you were really like just had a calmness about you, which was obviously a complete farce. But
Yeah.
like that's how you want to portray. I wouldn't be worried about your portrayal at all. You looked great. You came across great.
Thanks.
Very slay.
I also think that it's also like a tip for people who do play is when they do the tribal or before tribal, when they're doing strategizing, be the first one to get taken away and pulled aside, because in the beginning, everyone wants to be part of the conversation, but all of the actual strategy happens at the last minute. So like get your interview done and then come back, and then I think that could make a difference.
That's a fantastic tip for future players. I think
no one wants to be the first one to say a name.
No, but you actually do want to be the first one who gets pulled aside, and then let everyone else do their confessionals, and then when they get taken aside,
and then you come back and get told it's this person.
Because when they all stand, when they come back, everyone stands together. No one splits off right away, so no one's really talking anything of substance. So you're spot on. That's the best time to miss.
Oh my God, I've got such a bad habit of interrupting people. But all of the I feel like most of the strategizing happened on that walk to tribal, like not even in the actual camps as well. So it's like I would keep talking like that whole way. You got to utilize those 10 meters.
Yeah, we've heard that from a few people. That's how the switch vote to Amanda happened a lot in that walk. And we've seen a few conversations in those walks that have led to tribal council decisions or confirming votes. So it did seem like that was quite an important part of the discussions in this game.
Yeah, and a lot of it wasn't filmed, actually. I think they were trying to, the producers at Byron was just trying to shush everyone and stop discussing it. So a lot of that was cut. But, most of the votes were made, I think, in that walk-up.
It's a funny situation because you understand they're trying to make a show, they want content, but you're like, fuck off, I'm trying to win this. Get out of my face. I need to organize this vote.
Lizzie, it was such a pleasure to watch you play. Thank you so much for being involved, and thank you so much for coming and doing this exit interview with us. I hope you get to play again. I hope,
and we want to know nothing, that you are the person that comes back from the edge.
And if you're not, still best eyebrows. And that's what matters.
The best eyebrows?
Best eyebrows.
Oh, thank you.
I do want to see you come back, but I also want to see JT, who is not salty and not going to go ballistic and is not bothered at all. I'm
so excited to see you two reunite at EOE.
Well, you were the one who stuck by him. There's going to be such a romantic connection because you stuck by him. You voted together with him.
And I kept telling him, I didn't vote you out.
Oh, does he not believe you? Does he not believe you? Oh, interesting.
No, it doesn't pay off. Well, actually, I'm spoiling it. Yeah, we all want JT back in the game.
Okay, everyone loves JT.
Yeah.
Content. We love it.
Yeah. Okay. So, as Annabelle said, thank you so much for coming on, Lizzie. Thank you to everyone who's watching live in the comments, and to everyone who then goes on and watches this whenever you do, when it goes up on the live stream or on the podcast stream or on Facebook later on. We really appreciate your continued support of the podcast and, of course, Sydney Survivor. Without everyone engaging in these sorts of things and watching and being part of it. Luke said, saying you are. That's Luke who's playing on the show. For those listening later, says you're welcome.
How this episode robbed?
Thank you to everyone who's part of it. We'll be back next week, back on the usual time of Thursday. It's going to be, it looks like a double boot from the preview, so it could be a really interesting episode. Have two people to interview, so we'll go long into the night, getting everyone's content. I can't wait to see you all. Thank you again, Jules and Annabelle, for joining me as always, and thank you so much for Lizzie for hanging out and making the time. It was great to have you on the show.
No, thank you for having me, guys.
And for those in Melbourne, who live in Melbourne or just going to travel to Melbourne, the Melbourne Survivor finale with live reunion, sort of, apparently, is going to be in Melbourne at 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2 hands bar, something like that. Look it up. It's on Facebook. If you're in Melbourne, come to the Melbourne Survivor finale. I'll be there. Annabelle will be there. Other people from the cast that you may have enjoyed might have been there. Jules will be there. It's going to be a great afternoon for those that are free. So if you're part of the LRG community, you want to be part of the LRG community, you're going to be in Melbourne or live in Melbourne on Saturday, come along. It will be great to meet you in person. I'll even sign something for you or even take a selfie with you,
No promises, but I'll talk to you. I'll at least say hi.
Just say hi and then walk off. But, that's a special moment for a lot of us, really. So thank you all. I hope to see many of you listeners at the Melbourne Survivor finale, and those that obviously can't, I hope to see you all next week when we cover the next episode. Thank you, everyone.